boy with a country swing. First we went from the court to the bikes, back to the course of my younger days.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of 3rd and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you part 2 of my picks and predictions for week 14 of the college football season. Last official week of the college football regular season. Continue on with rivalry week. So I've got 4 games on tap for you in this video to go along with the 3 I did in the other videos. So I'm going to have 7 games total for this weekend. And again, I'm going out of town for Thanksgiving, so that's why I'm doing these games early. So I'm not seeing the final injury reports, and I'm kind of making some assumptions in this game based on injuries. So we're going to kick it off with Florida at Florida State. Florida comes into this game as a 15-point favorite. Now, quick disclaimer. If you guys watch my videos, you guys know that I've pegged Florida State from the spring. I knew this was not going to be a good football team despite Vegas and a lot of people in America thinking this was a top 10 football team. Wild. So, as I talked about in the Florida State-Miami video, I wasn't actually doing that bet that I was doing on that video, which I think was Miami by 20, which they still did cover that spread. I did Miami, Florida State in the summer, and I caught Miami at a pick'em. Thank you, Vegas, for the easy money. The same day I did Miami, Florida State as a pick'em, I did Florida, Florida State. And Florida was an 11.5-point underdog back in the summer. So I already have Florida at plus 11.5. So I'm sitting pretty. I'm not going to do a straight wager and lay to 15, though I might throw this on a parlay. I still believe in my pick for this game, so that's why I'm doing a video on them. So getting into it, first thing is all about the line of scrimmage with Florida State. They're weak. They're weak up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Their rush offense, 129th in the country. They have no running back. They can't block for the running game. And this Florida Gator defense, especially this front seven, has become an aggressive, hostile bunch over the last few weeks. Then you look at the other side of the ball. Florida's rush offense, you see 79th in the country. Not awful, not great, but you got to take into consideration that Montreal Johnson, Florida Gators starting running back, missed about 4 games, and their backup freshman, Jaden Ball, who's looked really good, but it took some time to get acclimated to college football. Now he's been tearing it up now lately. They're going up against so with that said, this Florida Gator rush offense rank of 79th, it probably would be much higher if it weren't for those issues. And they're going against a rush defense ranked 106th in the country. This is a weak defensive front for Florida State. And with a Florida Gator team that loves to run the ball, expect them to open up holes and find a lot of running success in this game. Now you got the battle of the 2 freshman quarterbacks. So for Florida, you have DJ Lagway, who's looked like everything he was hyped up to be. Freshman sensation, 14th in the country right now is their pass offense yards per attempt. And that's mainly him versus Graham Mertz, who used to be the starter. Lagway's been looking downfield early and often. Play action is going to be able to be set up in this game with that running game. And Lagway has proven that he can hit these throws downfield when he has that opportunity for play action. So Florida State, on the other hand, with Luke Croman, Hoik, I believe is the freshman's name, he started the Charleston Southern game. They finally got over 20 points in the game. They won 41-7, but Charleston Southern was a one-win FCS football team, and they barely broke 400 yards passing or 400 yards of offense. He barely broke 200 yards passing in the game. So for me, 41-7 isn't really that impressive when you're going against a team like that. That's supposed to be a 70 burger against a team like that. So that tells me those offensive issues are still there for Florida State. I don't believe they're resolved. So you're talking about a Florida State offense that struggles running, struggles throwing, has a freshman quarterback going up against a hot team, a hot defense right now. I don't think Florida State's going to score a lot of points in this one. And then on the other side of the ball, Florida's offense with their running game has been really taking off with Ball, and now Montreal Johnson is back. And DJ Lagway, with his accuracy, and is one of the best deep ball throwers in the game right now. Give me Florida laying the 15. I don't think Florida State's going to score a lot of points in this game. If Florida hits, say, 28, they probably cover. So go ahead and give me Florida and lay in the 15. But again, I'm taking them with the plus 11.5 that I got in the summer. Next game, it's going to be Louisville at Kentucky. Louisville is a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Louisville is a 7-4 football team. Kentucky is a 4-7 football team. So you think to yourself, at first glance, well, Kentucky's a bad football team. This should be an easy cover for Louisville. Let me give you one of those. Well, I'm not going to copy my man Lee Corso, but not quite. Kentucky has won 5 straight in this series. And some of those years that they won this game, Kentucky had a bad record. They didn't have a great record, and Louisville did have a good record, and Kentucky still beat them. In fact, Louisville went to the ACC championship game last year, and Louisville worked them. Kentucky worked them last season. So don't fall into the trap of just looking at the record in this one. However, when you're looking at this game, first take a look at Kentucky's offense. They have no running game. Their running back, Demo Sumo-Carbane, I actually think he's pretty decent running back, but they never give him the ball enough for him to get established. And they try to force feed you Brock Vandergrift, the quarterback, to make it seem as if he's some star QB, which, he's not. This Kentucky offense, or that's what they were doing. This Kentucky offense has averaged 13 points per game in their last 5 non-FCS games. Obviously, they beat Murray State 48-6, but we're not counting that. 13 points a game. They've scored 20. They haven't scored over 20 in any P4 game this season, and they only hit 20 once, and it was in their upset win over Ole Miss. So this offense is not moving. This offense is not scoring. Louisville, on the other hand, has Tyler Shugg at quarterback, who I'm not a big fan of Tyler Shugg's game. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me. I've seen him play really poorly before, but they are 25th in the country in yards per attempt, so he is doing something right. Got to give it to him. You got Ja'Cory Brooks there, receiver, big-time weapon. He's going to get loose in this game, and he's going to be able to make plays down the field in this one. So when I'm looking at this game, offensively, Louisville's offense is just much more talented than Kentucky's offense. And Kentucky's defense isn't some brick wall that's about to completely shut down this Louisville offense. So Louisville's going to move the ball. So now it's going to be, can Kentucky keep up? Can they keep pace? Can they do something that they haven't done all season, which is score? And the answer to that is no. So I'm going to go with Louisville. I'm going to lay the 3.5. Chalk one up for the ACC in this one. I think Louisville goes into Lexington and wins this game. Next up, we have Tennessee on the road at Vanderbilt. Tennessee, 10.5-point favorite in this game. Looking at this game, first thing you want to note is Vanderbilt's quarterback, Diego Pavia. He's starting in this game, but he's banged up. He's banged up. He's not healthy. So now you got a not healthy Diego Pavia. You don't have a strong running game. And you got some receivers that aren't going to really scare a Tennessee defense that is elite. It doesn't bode well for Vanderbilt's offense in this game. Tennessee's rush defense also ranks 6th in the country. And with Vanderbilt not being a strong running team, not really having a running back, this is going to be a one-dimensional game offensively for Vanderbilt, and you're doing it at one dimension with a quarterback who's banged up. I think the kid is a warrior, personally. But I don't know about in this game against this Tennessee defense. You got to be something serious offensively. You got to have some serious talent to really be able to move the ball against these guys. Then on the other side of the ball, you're looking at Tennessee. They're led by the running game with Dylan Sampson. I think he's the best running back in the SEC. Vanderbilt's rush defense, 36, not bad. But in this game against that running back, I don't think so. I think Dylan Sampson's going to have himself a really good game, probably rush for around 150 or so, as he's going to set the tone for the Tennessee offense. And they're going to have balance because I'm still a believer in Nico. I know, as I said in other videos, maybe 2024 wasn't the year that he's going to take off. Maybe it's 2025. All the physical tools are there. All the talent is there. And he hasn't played poorly. It's just he hasn't had that huge game that really set the tone as, I'm a Heisman contender type. I'm not saying he's going to have that in this game, but he's going to probably be his regular efficient self, hit some throws downfield, make some plays with his legs, and hand the ball off to Dylan Sampson and keep that running game going. I don't think Vanderbilt's defense is really going to slow down this Tennessee offense that well. When you're saying 10.5 is the spread, you're thinking that this could be potentially be a one-possession game. And I just don't think it's going to be a one-possession game. I think the Vols are going to take control of this game pretty early and kind of control the game throughout. As I said, Vanderbilt banged up quarterback, offense with limitations. I don't like their chances in this one against an elite defense that's similar to that South Carolina team they played that they lost to 28-7. So go ahead and give me Tennessee late at 10.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the score was similar to that 28-7 score either. And the final game we're going to do is Texas at Texas A&M, big-time rivalry game. These guys used to play each other every year. Now it's been years since they've played each other, and they finally have to play each other again as they both are in the same conference, the SEC. Texas comes into this game 5.5-point favorite, and everything is on the line in this one. The winner of this game goes to the SEC title game. This game to me is all about defense. Which defense is going to be better? Texas's defense is elite, 13th against the run, 1st against the pass. Texas A&M's defense, 41st against the run, not bad. 52nd against the pass, not terrible, but certainly not as good as what Texas is going to trot out there. So that Texas defense against a Marcel Reed, who's got wheels, dude, he can move and groove. Got to give it to him. But against South Carolina, they got blasted 44-20, and that defensive front is similar to what Texas has got. Texas probably got better, has a better defensive front, has a better secondary. So it's going to be tough sledding for Marcel Reed in this game if it was tough sledding for him in that game. Then you look at the other side of the ball, Quinn Ewers. I've said it many times, I'm not a Quinn Ewers guy. If you're drafting Quinn Ewers in the first round of the NFL draft, good luck to you. That's a mistake to me. Seen him play enough to know that this 52nd ranked pass defense is probably going to look better than that against Quinn Ewers for parts of this game. But eventually, as he always does, Quinn Ewers will finally find his groove, start to hit some throws to a speedy group of receivers. You're going to have the running game with Jaden Blue. They're going to be able to move the ball. I'm not saying Texas is about to blast these guys, but they're going to eventually find their way, their footing in this game, and the offense is going to eventually move the ball. Something to note, Texas A&M, their last two P4 games, 240 burgers the defense gave up. 44 to South Carolina, that's not an explosive offense. 43, I know it was overtime, but 43 to Auburn, not an offense that's gotten better throughout the season, but still not the most explosive offense either. So something's going on with that Aggie defense. Maybe they've hit a wall. Maybe they're gassed. I don't know. But they're not looking good going into this final game of the season. And against Texas's offense, who should be able to finally find some footing. Steve Sarkisian, he knows what he's doing offensively. He's going to find the holes in his Aggies defense to be able to exploit. I like the Longhorns in a hard-fought game. I'm going to lay the 5.5. I think it's going to be a four-quarter football game, but eventually the levee breaks for Texas A&M, and the Longhorns go ahead and cover the 5.5. So anyway, that wraps it up. 4 games. Saw this video went a little long-winded, but 4 games to go with the 3 I did earlier today. So 7 games total for you this Saturday. If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that, as you're going to see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.